Hey guys, welcome back. Emily Jean if you're new here, and today I wanted to share a little check-in on my 2021 reading goals, where I'm at with them, and also what my end of the year TBR is shaping up to look like. I have a ton of books to share with you guys and I'm so excited. So if you want to find out, grab your coffee, grab your tea, and let's get cozy. Okay, so November. Oh my gosh. We're already thinking about end of the year, and I wanted to just kind of check in on my reading goals and see where I was at, and it really made me start thinking about what I was going to read for the rest of this year to hit some of those goals that I had for myself. So a huge goal of mine was to clear out my pre-2019 TBR on GoodReads. So all the books that I had added before 2019. So 2018, 2017, there are a bunch of books on there, and I want to either DNF them or read them. I don't want them sitting around anymore. So that was a big goal of mine. I've been working my way through that list, but there's still quite a few left. That's what I'm really going to be focusing on for the end of the year, is making my way through that list. A couple other goals I had, one was to read a book in Spanish. That's not happening. That's getting pushed into my 2022 goals. I really have to brush up on my Spanish and put together like a specific plan of how I'm going to do that, which I didn't really do this year. I just thought it would be a fun idea to read a book in another language. So that's getting moved over to next year. The other goal was my reading challenge on Goodreads. So in January, I had set it to 20 books because last year I only read 12 books, which I was pretty happy with. I have a young toddler at home. I hadn't quite figured out the routine of how to fit it back into my life, and just had kind of gotten away from that regular reading routine. So I was hoping to read 20 this year. I hit that pretty quickly, so I moved it to 36, and then I hit that, and then in May I switched it to 52, and I'm almost there, which I can't believe. I've been able to read almost a book a week. The things that I've changed are just reading before bed, getting back into that habit of reading about an hour before bed, and you can really work your way through some beautiful books. So my goal right now is 52. I think I'm going to leave it at that, and if I get over it, awesome. Feeling really good about that. So the big goal that I still have to work through is clearing out all my TBR that I added before 2019. So in November, I'm going to focus on these 5 with a couple extra that weren't on my pre-2019, but I really, really, really want to read them. I've been averaging about 5 books a month, and I have 7 on my TBR for November. Based on previous experience working through these pre-2019 TBR books, is I usually DNF at least one of them, so I'm thinking maybe I'll get closer to that 5 mark, but a couple of these are shorter as well, so that might help too. So the first book that I want to check out for the end of the year is The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. I added this to my TBR October 3rd, 2018. So it's been around a while. It's got 3.94 stars on Goodreads, but I'm really drawn to this because it's like a thriller, I guess. I don't know too much about these. I mean, it's been forever since I added them in, but this is supposed to be thrillers, and I did see a couple spoilers that possibly zombies are involved. So I wanted to read you the little like book jacket blip. So it says, Melanie is a very special girl. Dr. Caldwell calls her our little genius. Every morning, Melanie waits in her cell to be collected for class. When they come for her, Sergeant keeps his gun pointing at her while 2 of his people strap her into the wheelchair. She thinks they don't like her. She jokes that she won't bite, but they don't laugh. The Girl with All the Gifts is a groundbreaking thriller, emotionally charged and gripping from beginning to end. So this sounds really interesting. I guess it was a USA Today bestseller. The next one that I'm really excited to check out is Wolfsbane. So this is actually the 4th in the Silver series by Rhiannon Held, and I really enjoy this series. It's about werewolves and shape-shifting. This is the cover. I've got it on my Kindle. They didn't have it at the library. So this is actually the fourth in the Silver series, and I did read the third one last year and really enjoyed it. I guess probably in 2018 I must have just added everything from the series, which I stopped doing. I started only adding the next book in the series to my TBR instead of all of them, because sometimes I stop reading a series, right? So this book has been on my TBR since October 2018, but I did actually read the third one in 2020. So this is a really beautiful series about this werewolf who has had trauma in her life, and she actually can't shift anymore because she's had silver like injected into her, and there's no way to get it out. It went too far. And it's kind of about her coping with this and her experience in the werewolf pack, and the series is just really good. So I'm excited to check this one out. So in book 4, we just get to continue the story, see kind of how the characters are growing, and I'm excited to check this one out for sure. The next book is The Thinking Woman's Guide to Real Magic by Emily Croy Barker. I added this one November 2018. It has 3.55 stars on GoodReads, but I think I was really drawn to this because of the magic, but it sounds kind of fantastical, and somebody compared it to the All Souls trilogy series, which I really enjoyed, A Discovery of Witches, that series. So I was curious to check this one out. The book jacket says it's an imaginative story of a woman caught in an alternate world where she will need to learn the skills of magic to survive. So I'm excited. I don't know much more than that, but I do love a good magic system, and I love this idea of being stuck in an alternate reality. We'll see. Then I have the Unforgettable Guinevere St. Clair. I think I added this one because the cover is so beautiful. It's by Amy McCheaney. I think that's how you pronounce it. It actually has 4.10 star average on GoodReads, which is really good for GoodReads. And the little blip is that a 10-year-old girl is determined to find her missing neighbor, but the answers lead her to places and people she never expected, and maybe even one she's been running from. In this gorgeous debut novel that's perfect for fans of The Thing About Jellyfish, which I loved that book. If you haven't read The Thing About Jellyfish, it is so... oh, it's just sweet and heartrending. It's about this little girl whose best friend died, and she's having a really hard time coping with it. So she's become like hyper focused on the idea that it was a jellyfish accident that caused her friend's death. And so the book is kind of about her coping with that and moving through it. And it was a beautiful read. So if this is recommended for fans of that, then I think I will hopefully probably enjoy it. We'll see. And then the final one that I'm thinking of is Children of Virtue and Vengeance. You guys probably recognize this one by Tony Ademi. I read the first one in 2018, so I need to do a bit of a refresher on what actually happened in the first one. I'm not going to go ahead and read the whole first book again, but I think I'll just look up synopses of the first one and then just dig in and start here. I do remember I really, really enjoyed the first book. This is in the Orisha Legacy of Orisha series, and this is book number 2. So we are following the characters again and kind of moving into more of the world, which I'm excited to check out. The first one was called Children of Blood and Bone, which I would definitely recommend, even though I can't really remember everything that it was about. But this is a book that I would like to read in November as well. And that was good. I had 5 books. I felt really good about that. Again, about 5 books a month has been my average, so I felt good about that. But then I'd been waiting for my library. I was like 44th in line for both of these books. I was waiting in line for a while, and so you never quite know when it's going to be available. And they both happened to be available as I was preparing for this. And I do really, really want to read both of them. So it's going to be tough to choose what to read out of these, but I've at least narrowed down that these are books I would like to finish before the end of the year. So we have Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. It took me forever. If you haven't seen my full review, I'll link that in the description box below of From Blood and Ash. I loved it. Loved it. So I definitely wanted to check out the second in the series. This is by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I'm just so excited to see where the characters go. How are they going to overcome what happened in the first book, and where is it going to lead to? I want to find out. So I think this will be reading sooner rather than later. And then this one, oh, I requested as soon as it was released, and I'm really, I want to pick it up right now, but I'm in the middle of a book. I've got 2 books I got to finish reading for my book club for October. Under the Whispering Door. Oh my gosh, for those of you who loved The House in the Cerulean Sea, which I did, I'm sure you know that TJ Klune released a new book, and it sounds just as impactful. I'm really looking forward to reading Under the Whispering Door. I don't remember much about it. I just said yes as soon as I saw that was TJ Klune. And I think his writing style has really developed into something that a lot of people are enjoying. I look back at some of his older books and I'm not necessarily drawn to him, but I haven't tried to read them yet. This feels in the same vein of The House in the Cerulean Sea, like making you think about what it means to be a human and pulling at the heartstrings and having us fall in love with the characters. That's what I'm hoping for, at least, with these books. So Under the Whispering Door, death is only their beginning. And on the book jacket it says, when a reaper comes to collect Wallace from his own funeral, Wallace begins to suspect he might be dead. So we will see. This one feels, I guess it's a little bit more haunting, a little darker than The House in the Cerulean Sea, but I'm definitely curious to check this one out. So we'll see how November goes. Those are the ones I have from the library right now. And then the other ones that were pre-2019 are ACOTAR. Haven't read it, haven't really been drawn back into it, but I at least want to give it a try. The Sleeper and the Spindle, which is a retelling. Blue Crown, which is the 3rd book in one of my favorite series, The Green Glass House. I did actually try to pick it up this year, but it didn't follow the original characters from the story, so I didn't get into it as quickly as I thought, but I do want to still give it a chance. Then Willow of the Wood, which is a juvenile read, middle grade read that I think is going to be really interesting. And then the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, number 3, Dreams of Gods and Monsters. I want to pick that up because I've really, when I did read those series back in 2018, I really enjoyed it and I want to continue with it. And I actually have the 3rd book. I just haven't read it yet. So that's it. That's my plan for the end of the year. It's going to be an interesting balance between all the books I come across that I want to read and also wanting to hit some of these goals for myself. I know they're goals I set myself so I can break the rules, but it would feel really good to clear out all of those TBRs from before that I've been meaning to read for years. And so I can kind of focus on the newer books that are coming too. Plus, all of them are good. There's a reason they've been on my TBR for so long, because I want to read them, right? Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for hanging out. Let me know in the comments what the end of your year is starting to look like reading-wise, if you've been thinking about it or if you're just gonna wing it. What are you gonna do? Let me know in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye, guys.